What's good everyone, I'm Zayas, and today I'm here to do somewhat of a different video. I'm here on My Anime List, which is one of the biggest manga websites out right now, and I'm here on their user rated list, which has the top 100 manga that users have rated. And I think it's one of the better and more popular lists out there. I've kind of skimmed through it a little bit already. I'd say maybe like 30 or 30-ish of these manga would make my actual list, but I'm just here to kind of talk about what my opinion is on some of these things and how I kind of feel about this list. I have seen somebody do this before. I kind of came up with the idea, searched around for about it for a little bit, and I saw somebody else has done it, but I'm just going to give you my take on this list. Now, as you can see here, there's top manga, there's top manhwa, and there's top Chinese manhwa. I'm not really going to go through these too much. There are some like decent stuff up here, like Nan Hao Shao Feng. I think Your Name is okay. Long Song of the Long March is okay. Feng Shen Ji, I read these and they're decent, but I wouldn't really. Oh, Ravages of Time is fine. I've read this one regrettably, but I wouldn't really put these top 100. Top manhwa, there's some you can argue about. I wouldn't put Solo Leveling. The Horizon I liked, but I probably wouldn't put it. Greatest Estate Developer is good, but again, not top 100. Omniscient Reader was solid. Boxer was solid, but none of these I would really put top 100. So I'm just gonna look at the top 100 manga list now. So at 100, this is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which I think is a good work, but definitely not top 100 in my opinion. It's like an enjoyable short little read if you want. Blue Giant, actually I've not read this, but this is probably more like an actual top 100 work, even though I haven't read this. So I won't give my opinion on that one. Umineko, this is like, if you're into that series, you might like this. Bakemonogatari, as I put in my top 10 list, it's a good work. It's like a great adaptation. Is it a top 100 manga of all time? Probably not. Given this is a boys love manga, and yeah, I didn't like this at all. I kind of gave it a little try, but I didn't like this at all. I liked very few boys love manga, or girls love even. So I'm kind of a little bit of a hater, but yeah, in my opinion, nowhere near. I mean, like this is not a great work. Bungo Stray Dogs, not a bad work at all actually, but top 100 is like very very high. This is an enjoyable read, something like casual, but top 100 no. Blank Canvas, again, this is like a pretty solid work, but I wouldn't put it in my top 100 personally, but maybe some people would. Sakamichi no Apollon, I think this one I could probably arguably see being in the top 100. Where I would put it exactly, I don't know. Maybe at the end of the list like it is here. Like this is not a bad pick actually. This I have not read. I've heard this is good. Ping Pong, I think is a bit low honestly. Ping Pong could be higher. This is definitely a great work. Same author as Takamitsu Samurai, as I reviewed a long time back, which I think that could also probably make the list too. I think Crows wasn't on here. I think Crows probably could make the list. Fruits Basket, this is a classic, but is it top 100? I don't think so. It's a classic though. I mean, I didn't like reading this. I read a decent amount of it. I didn't really enjoy it, but it's a popular work. Blue Lock, definitely not. You guys have seen my review. Hiro Yasumi, thanks for the recommendation. One of the viewers recommended this, and this was actually a great work. This was an incredible work. I think this is a great spot for it, maybe even higher, honestly. This is a very, very, very solid work. Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah, I think Jujutsu Kaisen has only gotten worse since I reviewed it. I think a lot of people would agree with me. I know like that was one of my more hated reviews, but yeah, I don't think anybody's saying that Jujutsu Kaisen is good now. Tokyo Ghoul, this is not a bad work, but again, is it top 100? Probably not. I could think of a lot of series which would rather take this spot. Fable, I think Fable on top 100 is pretty deserved. 85, honestly, maybe even higher. This is actually a good work. 85 is okay. I don't mind it. Sasaki to Miyano, Boys Love, I've not read that. I think a lot of Boys Love gets really overrated on here, on this website. I've not read this either. Medalist, so I don't know. Spy X Family, I think this is rated too highly, honestly. Like I like Spy X Family. Is it one of the best manga of all time ever created out of the thousands and thousands of manga? No. Kami-sama Kiss, I've heard of this, I haven't read it. One Outs, I'm surprised this is actually this high up. I really liked One Outs. Top 100, maybe it's kind of like 80. Like, this is not a bad spot for One Outs. Shingeki no Kyojin, yeah, way too high. I'm surprised this is this high. I would not include it on the list at all. I hated that ending. Hanako-kun, it wasn't really my type of work. I can see other people liking it more. I would not have this. Diamond no Ace Act 2. If you watched my previous top 10 list, you would know I had this. This was a great work. Diamond no Ace Act 1 was great too. Otoyo, okay, A Bride Story. Honestly, I like this work, but is it top 100? I don't know. Arguable. It's arguable. Skip Beat, if you like it, like, if you like the stuff, you might like Skip Beat. Personally, I wouldn't have it. The Gundam Origin, I actually think this is the best Gundam work. I read like a decent amount of this and I liked it. But is it top 100? Might be. This might be. Rurouni Kenshin. This is going to be controversial because, like, what happened to the author? But if you just look at the work wasn't bad, actually. I don't mind it being top 100. I would probably have it much lower, maybe like closer to 100, but it's not a bad choice. Oshinoko, way too high in my opinion. Dungeon Meshi, it's a good spot for it. I don't mind this. Dungeon Meshi is great. This is Kaiji. Which Kaiji is this? This is probably one of the newer Kaijis. I haven't read this one yet. But Kaiji in general is just great, so I don't mind having this. Chihaya Furu. Again, this work has kind of grown on me since I talked about it beforehand. I do think this is one of the better romance works. I don't mind it being at 70. Pandora Hearts. I would not have Pandora Hearts this high. I really couldn't get into Pandora Hearts. I tried a lot of times. Part 4 is actually my second favorite JoJo part, so I'm actually glad to see it on here. I know some people are going to have issues with the artwork because it kind of took a while to find out what he was really doing with the art, but one of my favorite protagonists with this guy, Jotaro comes back. Josuke is like, has one of the coolest stands. Yeah, one of my favorite parts. Honestly, you could even put that higher in my opinion. Evangelion, I haven't read the manga. I've heard good things about the manga. I've seen the anime, but whatever. Apothecary Diaries, I think this is a solid work, but I think it's kind of very high. Maybe like closer to 100. If I would include on my list, I would put it closer to 100. Skip to Loafer 64, that's a pretty good placement. I think Skip to Loafer definitely deserves to be on the list. Maybe even 50, maybe top 50. This is Your Lie in April. I actually have not read the manga for this. I didn't know there was a manga for this. I only watched the anime, so yeah. Yumaneko, again, if you like Yumaneko. Ashi, okay, I don't know how to say it. But the soccer manga, I actually haven't gotten too far into this. If you like soccer, you'll probably like this. It does seem like it's good. Banana Fish, I wouldn't include this in my list. I've tried this a few times, and yeah, it's very, very much aimed towards girls. Maybe it's okay, but I didn't like a lot of this. Witch Hat Altair, I think this is a great work. It's coming in really high at 59 for what it is. It is a great work, though. I would probably have it lower, maybe 80, maybe 70s, but it is a great work. I haven't read this one. Mob Psycho 100, this is a great work. I could probably go higher. It's definitely higher than One Punch Man in my opinion, which may be controversial, but Mob Psycho 100 is a great work. Deserves to be on here. Maybe it deserves to be like top 40, 30, maybe not 57. This is a good work. Will You Marry Me Again If You Are Reborn? I liked it. Is it 56 all time? Probably not. But could I see this being on the list? Maybe. Hinotori. This is one of my favorite works of all time. It is like a long work. It's kind of intimidating because it's from like so long ago. But this is one of the best works from Osamu. And I highly recommend you check this out. I would probably put this in the top 10, minimum top 10. 55 is kind of low, but you can kind of understand it's an older work. Not many people will read it or know of it. Pluto. This is actually my favorite Urasawa work, I think. It's either this or Monster. And I think this is a little bit too low for Pluto. 54. I'm glad it got like the anime. Now it's kind of regaining popularity. Gintama, this is actually a work where I think it could be higher. I know Gintama is a little intimidating because of these 77 volumes, 700 chapters. And in my opinion, Gintama was one of the longest works that I've ever read. Most works you usually can read in like, I don't know, like a week or two. Even like a longer work like One Piece, it's not going to take that long. But Gintama actually would probably take you longer to read than One Piece. There's less chapters, but they're like super dense. You have to read a ton, but it's extremely funny and extremely worth it. I would probably put this higher, maybe somewhere around the like 30, top 30. Blue Period. This is a great work. It's a newer work, but is it a top 50 work of all time? No. I would put this maybe like 70s, 80s again, but it is solid. Like, I really liked it. Arya. This is also like really good, really chill slice of life. It's very, very high though. 50 is very high, maybe 60s, like 60s. I'm not too mad about this placement though. Okay, we're getting into the top 50s. Real Life. Real Life is a great work. Top 50, maybe actually. Like, this isn't the worst pick for 50. There's probably like other things I would put in its place. I mean, I'd probably actually maybe like have it much lower now that I think about it, but it was funny. There was like drama. There's a lot of great about this. Like, the whole concept was entertaining. Golden Kamuy, I think it could even be higher. It's just like such a great adventure work with so many great characters. It was funny. It had a lot to it. Bale, I think this work is incredibly overrated on Mal. I tried this. It has like decent artwork, but why is it 49th best manga of all time? I don't know. Bloom Into You. This is a work which is girls love, and I think girls love get very overrated because the people who love girls love are going to be really into this. And I thought it wasn't bad. Like, for Yuri work, this is one of the better Yuri works, but like, it's still not great compared to like Golden Kamuy, right? Like, you have so many like great works right below it and above it. So yeah, I wouldn't include it on the list. Here we have Lone Wolf and Cub, which I think pretty deservedly is in 46th. Probably like not a perfect work by any means. Maybe like a 30 spot would even be nice. But yeah, it's a solid work. We have the Bungos Stray Dogs side story here, which, yeah, I really don't know this one. I would not include a side story on here. These are like the greatest works ever. Sayonara Eri, I would put probably like pretty low on the list if I were to include it. I don't mind its inclusion though. Maybe like 44 is very high though. Maybe like 100, maybe like 90s. I haven't read Natsume's Book of Friends. Akira, I think, deserves to be on here for sure. The placement, I'm not really sure. This does seem like a little high in my opinion, but yeah, it deserves to be on here. Dora Hedro, great work. On my list, it would probably make like 50 or 60, but it's better than a lot of works on here. I mean, some of these works are better, but it's better than a lot of stuff. I think YKK Yokohama is kind of low in my opinion. This is like the Iyashiki. This is like one of the best slice of lives ever created. I know it's like a little older, so people don't rate it as high, or like there's not as many members as some of the newer works. But yeah, it's really good, really chill. Plot's great, art's great. Highly recommend. I don't think I've read this one. Yeah. Beck. Yeah, this was actually a good work. I'm not sure why it's so high up. I actually really liked Beck, but it's good, but like, is it 38? No. I probably wouldn't even include it on the list in my opinion, but if you put it at 100 or something, I wouldn't be mad. Death Note is actually probably one of the greater manga of all time, even like considering all the like memes about it. I do think like 40 is like 37, 40 is like a pretty good rating for it, not gonna lie. Maybe I'd have to see like what other works I'm including on here. Of course, like the works I would want are very different than a lot of these, but yeah, 40 I'm not mad. Girls Last Tour, I didn't like Girls Last Tour. It's not a bad work, just like it's fine, like something I would read if I was bored. I wouldn't include it on my list. Mushishi, this is really good slice of life, probably not as good as YKK, but still really good slice of life. I would probably put it like 50, 60s. Like, it's really good. Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man's good. It's definitely not definitely not anywhere close enough to be on this list, in my opinion. It's really hyped. Obviously, everybody knows Chainsaw Man, so yeah, not on my list. Hajime no Ippo. This is a pretty good work. Probably not this high up. Maybe like 60, 50. It's a good work though. Has its weaknesses. Yeah, has some strong characters in there. Takamura is a great character. Ippo is a great character. There's a lot to like about that series. Hunter x Hunter, I think, is actually low, which I don't know why it's 32. It could be much higher easily. One of the greatest mangas ever created. Great characters, great adventure, great power system. One Punch Man is definitely not better than Hunter x Hunter. Like, looking at a lot of these works aren't better. You could probably put this top 10, top 20 easily. One Punch Man, it's a good work. I would have it in my top 100. Probably not this high up. Maybe like 70, but it's a great work. Definitely below Mob Psycho. Frieren. Frieren deserves to be top 100. Probably deserves to be top 50. Top 30 is really pushing it, but obviously there's like so much hype around Frieren right now, so yeah, that's why it's so high. Made in Abyss, I think, actually deserves to be here, even though it's extremely like questionable morally. But story writing wise, like, it's really intriguing. Characters are like pretty interesting. There's a lot to like about Made in Abyss. Koko no Hiro, The Climber, I think is one of the one of the greatest mangas of all time. I'd probably have it closer to like top 20, top 15. 28 is a little low. I actually haven't read The Space Brothers, but I've heard good things about this. I Sold My Life for 10,000 yen a year. Definitely would not make my top. Like, it's a fun read, would not make my top 100 list at all, especially 28, like, or 26. It's pretty crazy. Next, we have Nana. Nana's like a really good work. I'm not even like a shoujo person, and I really enjoyed it. 25, though, I don't know. It didn't end like nothing. And even like up to the hiatus, things weren't like that great. I would probably have it bumped down a bit, but I would probably still put Nana on my list. Akatsuki no Yona, this is also one of the other shoujos that I've actually have read. It is really good. I don't know how long it is. It's probably extremely long at this point. I'm not caught up, but I don't mind this being on the list. I probably would have it lower on the list, but it is one of the better shoujo works of all time, in my opinion. Nausicaa, I don't think Nausicaa deserves to be on the list. Like, it's a fun read, but I probably wouldn't have it in my top 100. I think the Ghibli hype is obviously like pretty high. Haikyuu, I wasn't a big fan of this manga. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was all right. Definitely would not have it in my top 100. Yumineko again, yeah, if you're into Yumineko. A Silent Voice. A Silent Voice was actually really good. Top 20 of all time is really pushing it, though. Top, like, 50? Sure. Top 20, really pushing it. 3 Gatsu no Lion. I actually don't mind it being ranked here at 19. Even though 19 is, like, absurdly high, this is, like, actually one of the best manga of all time. Highly recommend. Really, like, kind of depressing, kind of like happy. There's like ups and downs. It's really questionable because he's now dating like someone in like who's 16. I don't even know. That part kind of threw me off a bit. I haven't been reading since that happened, actually, but yeah, it's really good. Other than that, GTO, I guess this is also kind of questionable, but I would probably put GTO even higher. One of the greatest delinquent works of all time. Really funny. Yeah, it's really funny, and there's like life lessons in here. It's a great work. Yatsubato, I don't mind it being placed this high. It's probably like the slice of life when you think of slice of lives. I think it's like comparable to like YKK, even though I'd probably take it's hard to say. All of these works are like really great, so it's hard to say. Kaguya, again, I think this is just very hyped. 16th of all time, there's absolutely no shot. Kaguya is 16th of all time. That is a pretty like insane take. Ashido no Joe, I think should actually be higher. I think Ashido no Joe cracking the top 10 is like pretty respectable. I mean, things are looking like really stacked right now. These are like really incredible works. I don't have any problem with this. Top 10, maybe like 8 or something. This is a great work. Real, this is kind of like high. I love Real. This is kind of high, even though I do love Real. If it was at maybe like 20, 30, 40, I could understand it. 14 is like a little high, especially when you got a Shida no Joe below it, GTO below it, 3 Gatsu no Lion below it. Like, yeah, it's great. It's not better than a lot of those works. 20th Century Boys, great work. Would I have it up this high? No. Again, this is probably my third favorite of Urasawa's, so I would probably put it closer to like, I don't know, 50, 60. It's like a solid, good solid work. The other two works were more interesting to me. Hoseki no Kuni, ever since I reviewed this, it actually kind of ramped up. So things have been like pretty good. I really liked Hoseki no Kuni for the last like, I don't know, 20, 30 chapters. Now, then it kind of died down again. Now they're just like talking to rocks. Is it 12 of all time an insane score though? Yes. Maybe if you put it at like 50, I would understand. 12 is kind of insane, or 60 or something. Even I might even have it lower than that on my own personal list, because there are parts to it I didn't like, but the new arc is actually really good. Kingdom, this is one of the greatest manga of all time. Probably should be in the top 10. I wouldn't put Grand Blue over Kingdom. This is an incredibly good work. The Konki arc was crazy. If you're not caught up to this, you probably should be caught up to this. Oyasami Punpun, yeah, top 10, easy. I'd probably say this is top 10 or borderline top 10. Yeah, maybe if you wanted to, there's like a bunch of stuff you would want to fit in the top 10, right? So maybe I could push this down to like 15 or like 18 or something, but I don't mind 10 at all. Grand Blue, this was a great work, really funny work. I love this, but 9 is actually bonkers. 9 is crazy. I mean, I could see like 30. 30 is like a pretty respectable number for this. It's a great work. FMA top 10 of all time. I will gladly put that at number 8. It's a bit high. Probably not even that high though. Like this is a solid spot for a work that's so like groundbreaking. The alchemy is crazy, characters are incredible, super funny. The way the story played out is like phenomenal. I really don't have any complaints. Vinland Saga, in my opinion, is actually one of the more overrated works on here. I know everybody says like, oh, the big three's Vinland Saga. Back when I was reading Vinland Saga, I kind of like trailed off. This was like back when Vinland Saga was kind of starting up. Maybe like it was a couple hundred chapters in, like 200, and yeah, I didn't really like Vinland Saga that much. I would not include it on the list at all. I mean, actually, maybe, but no, I probably wouldn't include it in my list at all. Slam Dunk, yeah, one of the greatest manga of all time. Easily, I can see people arguing number 1 for Slam Dunk. I can see, like, oh, I guess this is a GTO, or Slam Dunk is also kind of like a hard choice. Top 10, I can see a number. Well, I wouldn't put a number 1, but you know, top 10 easily. Great work. Monster, another great work. Is it top 10? Probably not. Is it better than Pluto? I don't even know. Like, I have to read them together to really see, but I mean, it could be top 10. Like, it's a very, very good work. One Piece, I actually have no problems with One Piece in the top 10. One Piece is one of the best works out right now. Probably like the best ongoing work. Yeah, it's One Piece. It's crazy. The adventure is incredible. New arcs, Egghead has been absolutely insane. Yeah, it's One Piece. Vagabond, I don't mind having Vagabond at number 3. It's hard to say. Like, you could put Vagabond at number 1, honestly. You could put Vagabond anywhere. I think Vagabond has to be in your top 5 if you're into this stuff, of course. It is hiatus, so like a lot of people won't want to read this simply because of the hiatus, but it's a pretty complete story. I guess you can go read the novel if you want the full story. But yeah, I have no problems with Vagabond. One of the few manga I actually bought. Part 7. This is my favorite JoJo part, which I mentioned after part 4. Part 4 being my second favorite. Gyro is incredible. The fights are incredible. You have like fights like True Man's World. You have all these crazy fights. Gyro is like one of the best characters JoJo's has ever made. Yeah, the way the story unravels, the villain, like I don't mind part 7 being number 2 or even number 1, like wherever. I think top 10, it has to be top 10, right? And then finally we have Berserk. It's one of the greatest manga of all time. It's literally the most popular and ranked number 1. I mean, I think number 1 is like a bit of an overstatement, which is kind of crazy to say because Berserk has like one of the greatest manga arcs ever in the Golden Age, or was it the Golden Age? Whatever, the pre-apocalypse arc. The main problem I have with Berserk is like post-boat. It's kind of gotten worse. But can you really say a series is like bad if it was like incredible at some point? Like the Berserk isn't even bad nowadays. It's just like a little bit worse than it was before. I don't mind Berserk anywhere in the top 10. I probably wouldn't put it number 1 personally, but I don't mind it at number 1. Like it's one of the most influential works, one of the best works. Yeah, that's the entire list. I think Dragon Ball made the list, which I kind of want to talk about Dragon Ball a little bit because, you know, Toriyama died. Everyone on social media is like, you know, running to get their clout from posting about Toriyama. But yeah, RIP Toriyama. I'm sure like almost like everybody knows about Toriyama, right? And I think my Dragon Ball review, which from like a long time ago, some of you may have seen my Dragon Ball review, but I think that's one of my worst reviews that I've done on this channel. I know like some of my earlier reviews were like bad, like, but that one I was just kind of spewing nonsense for like 30 minutes. I had to cut it down from like 15 minutes or something. And yeah, I don't know, that video, even like right after I recorded and uploaded it, just like a week after, I was like, man, I don't know if I gave it the right score. I don't know if I did a good job reviewing it. And honestly, I feel like you could probably give Dragon Ball a 10 out of 10. Like, I know not all parts of Dragon Ball are 10 out of 10, just like all parts of Berserk or like all parts of One Piece aren't 10 out of 10. But like, if one arc is that good, I think that's enough. Like, even if that content is like enough to be like some of the greatest ever, like, am I going to judge if the quality decreased for a bit? Maybe they were sick, maybe they just didn't have as many good ideas. But that arc was still crazy good. I still like one of the best arcs ever. So I probably would like retract Dragon Ball score and give it a 10 out of 10 if I could. Like the early fights with Demon King Piccolo, or like the fights with Vegeta or Frieza, really some of like the greatest shonen fights ever. And yeah, so this is this list. There's probably a bunch of manga like off of here that I would like have loved to put on here. Let's see if I can. Billy Bat, like, yeah, Billy Bat. Usugoi, I'm getting through this. I probably wouldn't put it on. Spirit Circle, look at that. Spirit Circle easily should make it. Chikana Toko should easily make it. There are a ton of stuff. This is one of the few like BL works. I guess it's not even technically BL that I was kind of like okay with. Maybe even I Shield 21 would make it. There's like a lot of works. Holy Land should probably make it. Barakamon might make it. Yeah, here's Dragon Ball, here's Blade of the Immortal, that might make it. So there's so many works that I would have maybe included. Kurosawa. Yeah, so there's tons of works that are probably left off here. Again, like I mentioned, Crows before. Bakuman, probably Buddha. Buddha was actually one of my favorite works. Yeah, I'll just quickly look through these. There are like a ton of things that I think should be higher. Obviously, this is a public rating system, so it's not going to be perfect. Everybody's going to have like their different opinions. Those were kind of just my opinions. Takamitsu Zamurai's here. I would probably put it up there. So yeah, thanks for watching. Oh, Kengan Asura, maybe. Kengan Asura maybe makes it. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. Let me know what you thought. Where would you rank some of these manga? I mean, actually, I guess you guys wouldn't rank all of these because I don't want to do a top 100 list of my own because it's going to be incredibly hard compared to just doing this. So yeah, this is kind of a quick bit of content before I make my own lists of the top ongoing and bottom ongoing. Those will be out soon, hopefully. And then I'll probably go back to doing normal reviews. So thank you and goodbye.